Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Don't change your channel. No, I am not Aaron Knoll. I'm Papa West, Jacob West, 38th favorite dad in the family community. Here for a movie battleground. I know I'm not normally here, but we just had the championship match between Henry and Joe, and what a fantastic match it was. Congratulations to the winner of that match. Tough luck to the loser. Quit sucking, and I'll congratulate you. Uh, Fantastic match, such a great match, and just a great tournament that Aaron has done. But he's kind of he's kind of been busy with that, and so I was like, Aaron, don't worry. I got the nice shoulder rub, the nice massage going. I'm like, you need to relax. Whatever your next match is, I got 100%. It's on me. I'll find competitors. I'll find judges. I'll write questions. We got this. And then he gets the match together and questions together without me. Okay, Aaron, whatever. I'll still help you. Because when you need Papa, Papa's here for you. Just like Blueberry Pop Tarts. Pop Tarts, please sponsor us. But with that, it is time for a match. I've bantered enough as much as I can. We do have a very interesting match. One person making their debut and one person who has competed before, um, but has not won. So two players looking for their first win. I will go ahead and bring in the first competitor, and that is Brian N. or Nussbaum, as it says right here. This is Brian's official movie battleground debut. We did see him compete in the holiday match where he lost to Jacob Barber. It was a tough match, but Brian, you are here for actual movie battleground. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling good. Tried my hand on debating. I judged a few matches before, and looking forward to see how it goes.
I'm interested to see how it goes too. Any words of encouragement to yourself or to your competitor without spoiling your competitor's name, because I'm about to announce it here in a second.
Never give up, never surrender.
Nice words of encouragement. Brian, I'm going to kick you out real quick, just real quick, because I'm going to bring in your opponent, someone who has played 3 times and lost every single time. But here for win number one, Chris Diaz. Chris, how is it going today?
I'm feeling good. Had a long day of rehearsal, but I had to get my first win. I bent and cheated to get my first win. So, had a lot of interesting questions to debate, some challenging one. But I feel against Brian, that he a good competitor. Everybody facing a newcomer put me on the edge and not knowing how he did argue, how both sides would work. But here to have fun and do the best I can. Run
All
away.
right. Well, Chris, I believe in you. Brian, I believe in you too. There we go. No favoritism. Let's go ahead and get this going. But first, I have to explain the rules. So, if I can explain this quickly enough while it is on the screen, if it gets on the screen, there we go. Movie Battleground is best of 5 points, or for best of 5 rounds. First to 3 points wins. Each round is worth 1 point. 3 points in a row is a win by a knockout. If there is a tie, after the four first rounds, we will go into a blind round. I will explain the blind round rules here in a second. Get this next one going. So each round is going to be 4 stages. Stage one is a 60-second opening argument. You're going to tell us what your answer is. You're going to tell us why that's your answer. Stage two is a 2-minute solo pitch. You're going to continuously tell us why that's your answer. You can talk smack against your opponent. One great thing, he cannot say anything to you. So say whatever you want. It went away. That's okay. I know the rules. Stage three is a 4-minute free-form debate. This is where both of y'all are talking. I do please ask that, first off, I find this hair that's annoying the crap out of me. But second, please don't talk over each other that much, because when you're yelling at each other, you're acting like children. We are not children. We are grown adults. Also, we can't hear what's going on, and the judges can't really give in favor, so then they show favoritism. We as judges do not show favoritism. Round number 4 is a closing round. This is your final 1 minute. Fully sell us on why your answer is correct and why your opponent is wrong. At the end of each round, or at the end of each question, we will go to our judges. They will tell us who gets their point and why. Whoever gets the most votes gets the full-on point. Again, first to 3 points wins. Aaron, I hope that was good enough. That's as good as you're getting. I will also announce Chad and Ryan Payne are our judges for tonight. Yes, there are 2. Usually there are 3. If at the end of the judging, Chad and Ryan are differing, Chad gives it to Chris, Ryan gives it to Brian, I will come in and decide who gets the actual point. I am your third judge tonight. Again, Chad, Ryan, please do not need me that much. Fair? Chris, are you ready?
Yeah.
Brian, are you ready? Chad said he'll try. Chad, I need better than trying. So, with that, let's get into this. We're going to have a quick. All right, so the rules have been explained. There are no questions except for the 4 questions that have been prescribed to you by your doctor. Well, let's go ahead and get into question number 1. And that is, what is the best Disney animated film of all time? Chris, I don't know if you're the favorite or the underdog in this one, but you are going first on question 1 because I said so. With that being said, I'm going to get the timer up. Also, fun fact, Papa doesn't do computers that well. So we're going to the kind of old school timer. I'm sorry. Not everyone's perfect. Sue me. Whenever you start talking, I will start your timer. So you have 1 minute to start whenever you feel like it.
So when it comes to Disney animation film, there's a ton of film that I should pick from. I love Disney. I've been a Disney fan ever since I was a kid. But I went one that hold it dear to my heart. The Tale of Old Time, A Song of Old and Wine. It came out the year I was born. It's Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is the prime example of fantastic Disney animated film. Full of great songs. Be like, yeah, Beauty and the Beast, Belle, Something There, like Gaston, Kill the Beast. Like everything, the character you see Belle, you see Gaston, you see Beast, Cosworth, Lumiere, and everything. But it also had beautiful animation, the ballroom scene, and everything that made it what is unique for Disney from there. For a great song, memorable characters, story that you can sympathize and relate to, and that the animation style itself, along with classic line to remember at all times. Beauty Beast is that for me, something I grew up holding dear to my heart. I rewatch every year, and I love it. And time.
That was time. Congratulations, Chris. Brian, same thing to you. You have a minute on the clock for your opening. Time starts when you start.
Okay, for me, when there are tons of great Disney films out there, and for me, what stood out to me the most, and one that I rewatched the most, is The Emperor New Groove. This came out in 2000s, and this film wasn't supposed to be the film as it was. It was supposed to be a very different film, and for this one, you get memorable characters. One of the most memorable villains, Yzma, one of the most underrated Disney film of all time in 2000s. Great memorable lines, memorable quotes, and let's talk more in the second round.
So with that, I feel it's safe to say Brian conceded the rest of his time. With that, we are moving on to our 2 minute solo pitch round, whatever you want to call it. Chris, we are starting off with you. Your first 2 minutes. Time starts when you start talking.
The thing with Emperor New Groove, and it's a film that I do like a lot. It's for me an underrated film, Disney film, but nothing I love is that Cusco is an annoying idiot that, as the main character, you can't really sympathize with a lot. Like, he does stuff an idiot that makes mistake after mistake, and he is an asshole a lot of times, especially Potter, played by John Goodman. They have a big voice tangent and everything. I think why it does have great villain It's lacking what made a great Disney movie, a great central character. With Beauty and the Beast, you have Belle, a character that defined the norm of what Disney princess is. Someone who defends herself, someone who does her own thing despite what other people tell her to. And she doesn't abide by the love thing at first. Like, she gave her life up for her father's place to take her father's place in the Beast Castle. But you don't usually see it for Disney princesses. And you also have a great character with Beast, someone who is was selfish and willing and replace under character, and you sympathize with his story. And you grew to love him and overcome despite his scary appearance first. The animation style is much better than in the Emperor Nugu. Amazing. The ballroom scene. When the dance began, you see the angels scaling thing. It's so amazing. And you talk about one thing that Emperor Nugu lacked is song. Whether you talk about be a guest, got to tell me to see you get on beating it and the beat you got bell like every single song is memorable and memorable character had memorable line had song that gets stuck in your head for days. It have everything you need for Disney film that and produce no and produce group have good villain, some memorable one liners and a couple of neat little gags. But it lacks everything else that makes Disney what it is, and I think being be solve it all. It's something that stick with you. It's stuff that characters you sympathize with and relate to. Along with a part you can engage in. Like that's what I love about it. Bella is my favorite Disney princess, and Jasmine one of my favorite Disney villains.
And that was time. I also forgot to actually take the timer off the screen. So y'all are all small that entire round. Aaron, I'm sorry. I promise I will correct that come Brian's and the rest of this match. So with that, Brian, it is now time for your 2 minute pitch round. Time starts when you start talking.
Chris, you say that Crucial's annoying. That's what David Spade does. You know he's annoying. For this film, you sympathize more with the henchman Kronk, as he's one of the best villains, the villain sidekicks. This feels like it doesn't need music. It needs the comedy and the road trip esque. That's what this film is. With and you get like all the great. Even though the animation is not that good, this film had to take all like uh, like set out the Renaissance. It Even though the animation is not good, it has great animation with the map sequence toward the last half of it, and even though it doesn't need music, it's one of the best comedy Disney comedies of all time. And for this film, I was talk more in the next round for this one.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes, Chris. Very interesting indeed. I forgot. Guys, I promise I'm not losing it. I'm just most.
You're doing good, Jacob. You're doing
You're
good.
good for first time host.
I'm not the first time host. Watch your mouth, Brian. But with that, I just got off a long day of work. Let's blame it on that. And I had to buy gas today, so I'm scarred emotionally. We are moving on to our 4 minute talk amongst yourself round, whatever Aaron is calling it these days. 4 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna start it whenever anybody tells.
Okay, Brian, I like Emperor Nugu. I do. But I think what it lacks is the central character you to sympathize with. Right? You have Eastman, right? You have Quan, and they are good characters. They are like they few and far in between. They appear wherever they can in film, and you spend the whole time with David Spade Cusco. He is one of the most annoying main character in any Disney movie, and it get on your nerves so much you can't sympathize with. You can't root for him. But I think with Beauty and the Beast, Belle is a character that you fall in love with first place. When she first starts singing Little Town, Little Quiet Village, and you just fall in love with her right there. And she defines the norm of what a Disney princess is. She is like what any girl would want to be. Not like the stereotypical Disney princess. And that's what makes
You
you.
have a villain there is very creepy. Like try had to like he wants to rape Belle. Like he's very
Yeah, but
creepy.
that what
Yes.
makes Gaston a good villain. He in the Digital
Yeah, a
Hunter
villain
who
who wants
wants what he
to
wants.
rape
And it
to end up
like
raping her, and like and she has like Stockholm syndrome, like falling in love with a guy you met for just a few days ago.
That any problem with any Disney movie, it's just like, but it's not. It's something to overlook, and it's because you love Bella. You like Beast. Yes, he come off gay at first. The animation, by the way, is stunning when he first appeared in the moonlight when he showed himself to Bella, and it's just unique. You had great voice actors, and the land base, Pedro Harris, like all of the David and his beard, they all great voice actors bring characters to life. I thought Emperor New Groove, the only character I remember Idma and Kronk and Potter with Bean and Wheat. You had Chip, you had Barbette, you had Codwood, you had Lumiere, you had Gaston, LeFou, Belle, Beast, and Mr. Pot. The list go on, and you remember then. You remember Codwood being like the overtight type person. You Lumiere, the French, guy that hitting all of them and like at Bell and Beat, you Gaston, the Egyptian hunter. And he had great villains. The contrast between him and Beats is so interesting and complex. They both have that for go where Beats decide to do better. Gaston continue to go to either go on Ronnie Bell. The Beats decide to be
Yeah, he wants
better
to
and beat
kidnap
it.
the father, sent to a mental hospital.
Yeah. But that what make Gaston he just crazy upon crazy and Beast let Bell go, and I think that what made you fall in love with him. I think it also filmed that were nominated for Best Picture, first animation film to do so. They shown at the King Film Festival, unfitted footage, and it still got a standing ovation film at King Film Festival. But more than that, I think Emperor New Groove, there's stuff to like about it, but it doesn't define what is a great Disney animation film. It may be for you, but not for me, not for a lot of people. I think BNV hit every checkmark. The animation, the music, the characters, the script, the
But
plot.
that doesn't have to make a Disney film so good. You have to resonate with the story, even though you have to include watchability, memorable lines like with your film. Like, yes, the beats is good, but the animation, but it does. People stick with it for the Stockholm syndrome, the problematic. With this film, you get more fun with it than just the other one.
But the same problem ran for New Group. You had to add your main character, and you had to stick with him for the whole story. And it just like the Tonto Adventure is just a small part of what being a great problem. Everything else make it good, and it make it classic. At the end of the day, you had being a great song stuck in your head for days to come. And the New Group that memorable line and few
Every new
like
group
funny
has
gags.
lots of memorable lines.
I mean, money on time.
And time. Interesting strategy of stopping with 3 seconds left on the clock, but it was both of you who did it. So I can't blame one person for it. That being said, we're moving on to the 1 minute close. Chris, you started off this round, so you are starting off the 1 minute closing. Time starts when you start.
They both are a good movie. And one of them is better than the other. Beauty and the Beast is the defining Disney movie, and it's every chapter of what makes Disney movie great: the animation, the story, the characters, the music, the location, the plot, everything incorporated. The animation, as I would say, with whatever the Beast has read, it gets on tavern with the painting involved, and a little detail they have make it unique. Belle is an engaging character. You just full stars on me at all. But that doesn't compete how amazing Belle is. She gave her own personal life up to save her father for the beast by taking his place. But it's not something you see in a Disney movie. And you got Beast as a character that engaging, that fact that he let go make you sympathize and root for him about it being together. And Nugu had good villain, couple of funny lines, a bunch of funny lines, and a couple of very funny gags, but it lacked a central character engagement and a plot that is where everything you see every day.
And time. All right, Brian, let's finish out this question. It is time for your 1 minute closer. Time starts when you start.
For if you take out the music and the animation for and the animation for the animation for the Beast, you get a good story. With Emperor New Groove, you get good characters, great villains, great lines, and great rewatchability and great quotes in this film. Whereas Beauty and the Beast, it's a good movie, kind of overrated, but but it's a fine movie. I can see the time.
All right, and thank you for telling me you conceded the rest of your time. Well, gentlemen, great start to this match. I'll go ahead and kick both of you out, and I will bring our judges in, Chad, and the fourth member of the House of Black. Ryan, I have to ask real quick, does Malachi know that you have a CM Punk poster on your wall, and does he approve?
What the house doesn't know doesn't hurt them. And besides, if they ever need motivation in order for them to get on the top card, it's right there, so they don't forget.
Sounds good. So with that, judges, quickly think of an answer of who you want to give the point. Just a couple fact checks that I have to give. First off, thank you so much. I do not believe the Rotten Tomato scores were given on either of the arguments, which means you can have an argument without bringing up Rotten Tomatoes. Interesting concept. I love it. A couple things were said. Chris brought up saying The Emperor's New Groove is an underrated film. There's not a list of underrated films. However, when Movie Battleground had the topic of what is the most underrated film in Disney animation history, The Emperor's New Groove was not brought up. So I cannot agree that it is an underrated film. And then Brian brought up
fact check or just an opinion?
That's a fact check. It did not come up in that argument. Brian said Gaston wants to rape Belle. Nowhere in the movie does it ever say that Gaston is trying to do that. So intent is not known, I guess. So that being said, before I dig myself a bigger grave, Chad, who gets your point and why?
You're muted, Chad. Sorry, before you talk.
Yeah. So I love the passion on both sides. I love Brian's kind of like unconvinced voice. A lot of people pick out a lot of the Renaissance. But I think really what won was the not just the passion, but the experience. Because I picked Chris, and the reason why is just because he said just a lot more. Brian, he a lot of his time, and the only.
And my choice goes to Chris because he used a lot of his time to strengthen his pick. He not only talked about the animation, he talked about how there's memorable moments, there's memorable characters. He listed those characters down there. While Brian, he did have a great choice with Emperor's New Groove. I was hoping he would counter or at least combat some of Chris's picks, like naming some of the other characters, naming some of the other memorable stuff that's from the Emperor's New Groove. Having it be just say it's underrated just wasn't enough. I think not only he needed to strengthen, but he needed to chip away at it. And while the Stockholm syndrome is a good argument, no offense to that, but I can say anybody can argue against that Stockholm syndrome argument. But that wasn't thrown out here. I think hopefully for the next round, hoping Brian will bring more to the table, not just for his argument, but he'll find a way to combat when Chris throws out more.
So with that, I updated it like a minute ago. Chris gets the point. Chris draws first blood. Chad, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and grab our competitors and bring them in the stream. All right. Chris gets first blood. Congratulations. But Brian, it is not over. I call it the Papa Special, where I give the person the first point, and then I take the last three from them, make them cry because it happened. Didn't do it to Chris because I knocked him out in Game Zone back when that was a thing. But I do believe in you. Chris, you can also knock him out. I believe in you too. I've done it twice now. So that we are moving on to question number 2. In honor of the newest Fantastic Beasts films, I believe The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yep.
That's what it's called. Sweet. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I'm not a Wizarding World fan, so I don't know Fantastic Beasts that well. But apparently someone's in it, so this question's about him. What is the best film of Mads Mikkelsen's career? Brian, you are going to start this one off. You have a minute on the clock. Time starts when you start.
Okay, for me, I picked a film where I was first introduced to this actor, and I chose Casino Royale, released in 2006. His performance is great as the villain, the chief. Every time you see him, you recognize him more as this evil character. And some of the scenes he's in, like the torture sequence during the last half of the movie, and you see how you see him more like his likeness using Quantum of Solace and Spectre. So, yep, Casino Royale is my pick. 'Cause-
All right. So we have Brian with Casino Royale. Chris, we are now moving on to you.
Before I go,
One.
I want to put a disclaimer. You watching it for kids room? Do not watch it for kids room. I do talk about some really sensitive stuff about my pick that it might be a little bit too unnerving for people knowing.
Chris,
So,
Movie Battleground is a family show.
the
We're going
film
to get
warning.
demonetized
Yeah.
all because of you. Whatever. Get into it.
Yeah. Oh wait. You starting timer now?
I'm sorry when you start talking.
Yeah. Oh wait. I am a big Matt Mikkelsen fan. I've been a fan of him since Casino Royale, since Hannibal, my big stuff. But I think one of his best films, and one of the more underseen film, is one of his Danish films. It's called The Hunt. So in the film, Matt Mikkelsen played a nursery helper who get accused putting himself toward a child that who had a crush on him. He rebut him. He innocent in this case, but she made it seem like he showed his, you know what. And it's just him dealing with the town turning against him, and he gets it like chilling performance, but he just going through emotion turmoil at the turmoil. His dog died. The supermarket beat the crap out of him. Like he is forbidden to getting food. His friend rebuffed him. He just built it up so much, and I think what made Matt Mikkelsen such an amazing actor is the way his eyes, the emotion in his eye, and I think this film's best showcases.
And time. All right. So we have Chris with The Hunt. Fun fact, it's not the 2020 film
No, it's not.
starring Betty Gilpin and Emma Roberts is in there for that quickly. And that's what I thought. I'm like, Matt Nicholson isn't in that movie. He's not in that movie, is he?
No,
Thank you
he's
for
not. This
clarifying.
is a Danish movie. The other one is I don't know what to call that film.
The other one is pure amazingness. That's a debate for another day. As we move on to the 2-minute round, Brian, you're starting us off again. 2 minutes on the clock when you want to use it.
Okay, his performance as the chief is very terrifying. You see him kidnap Bond's love interest. You see him like try to torture him, and like I don't remember the way he did, but for me, I picked this character because this is the very first performance I've seen him in, and for the Hunt, I tried to find it somewhere, but it would I couldn't find it anywhere. So for me, the Chief's performance is one of the best performances in the Bond film, and even though you don't see him that much, you recognize him more and more in the films. So that would be my rebuttal for it.
There we go. All right, Chris, moving on to you for your 2 minutes. Time starts when you start talking.
So I will say this: Casino Royale is a really good movie. I can't really call it the best of Matt Mikkelsen's career because he's not in it a lot. Like he is used good throughout the film, but it's very Bond type film. Like someone who's trying to get out there, someone trying to do it Bond. You get one good moment with the church scene, but the rest of it is stereotypical Bond villain that we've seen before and done better in other Bond movies. I think he did me the best he can, but the script doesn't work well with him. The church thing come out more humorous and terrifying. And it's just like, but The Hunt, it's more what Matt Mikkelsen movie. He make it his own. And he's trying to bite great cast of character. But he talk about the girl that accused him, or his best friend that turned against him, or the town people. It's a community that you want to be interested in, and it's just his eye, his performance, the emotion doubt he dealt with. He being accused left to right of this accused. At first, a crime he didn't know about at first, and he is innocent. And the director does a great job of portraying that. Right, he is innocent of this crime. He's up rooting for the truth to come out. And at the time, you kind of feel sorry for the girl, like, and not like the villains. You kind of stand, across him, he rebuffed him, and you feel hurt by it. And it leads to that great moment of him in a church scene on Christmas Eve, confronting his friend at the pier and telling him, "Look at me in the eye. I feel nothing, nothing in my eye." And after he gets beaten to crap by the supermarket, and everything, like he had bruises in his cut, and one of the moments it shows the amazing ability of what man Mikkelsen an actor. A great film directed by Thomas Venberg. Also did another round with also really good film with Matt Mikkelsen. But this is a film that defined Matt Mikkelsen's career, something that should be seen more often. Despite a touchy subject matter, with amazing performance, amazing cinematography, and top-notch performance.
And that is time. Way to go, Chris. We're moving on to the 4 minute, where both of y'all can talk to each other. I prefer you argue with each other, but you do whatever you want to do. 4 minutes on the clock when someone starts talking.
Brian, I feel bad that you haven't seen my film, so this would be a little bit harder to argue here. But
I mean,
I think,
no one has seen this film. It's very limited. Like, no one
but
really
that
has
would
seen
make it like unique for Matt Mikkelsen's career. He mostly known for like playing over the top villains, like let's see, like the guy from the Three Musketeers, like Doctor Strange. Doing Hollywood things that when he doesn't get used to his potential, but when you go watch his stuff, like the Danish film, like The Justice, Another Round, The
The
Hunt,
question is
he
best
is
film,
like.
not what all his
But
movies.
I pointing to my point that that film showed not only his acting ability, but the way he uses sympathize with his character. This guy put in a situation where he getting accused of a crime that he did not commit, and it was based on a misunderstanding that this film had proportion. He lost his job. He only lost his visitation right to his son. He cannot shop anywhere. His best friend, who he always had drink with, turned against him. And he got watching his dog get killed by a non-person. And it's horrifying. And you got watching his eye tells everything from
You're
little
not
movements.
horrified by the torture sequence.
It come out more funny. Johnny Bond saying, "You busting my ball." He made jokes like that. I think it's done better out of film like Goldfinger, like other Bond films where Bond gets tortured and it villain come out creepy. It just
It's not best
done
torture
to
scene.
death
Best torture scene
before.
in James
Like,
Bond.
let's see it like the Goldfinger of villain. Like it just he did it for the money. He wanted to get out of the situation, but he played poker. It's done before, and I think Matt Michigan was handicapped to a script that doesn't your head bad. He get moments here and there, but he does play a regular Bond villain.
I
I
mean,
just think with
this
the
is his
hunt,
first Bond film. This is like one of the first performances people see him in.
it might be his first movie, but that's not make it his best career. We talk about what the best movie represents him. Maybe we should talk about this, but the hunt is okay. Not only his acting, but his ability to emote and make you sympathize with it. And I think everything outside the film is great. The cinematography of it is stunning at point. The Christmas service scene is one of the most stunning scenes to watch. His acting and the way the cameras work go back and forth between his friend looking at him to him looking at him. That build the tension to the moment when he pushes his friend, like, look at me. I got nothing in my eyes. Nothing. Like saying, I know you to tell the truth from my eyes. I did not do this. And it just, you root for him. I mean, Brian, I didn't let you talk a little bit because I feel bad that I didn't
Yeah,
speak.
like
Mhm.
for his performance, his best film performance is you see his anger, see his reason why he wants to torture Bond, and how challenging him to a board game, and also kidnapping Vesper, and then having Bond try to rescue her,
And I
then
think
and then getting tortured.
it fine performance. I just think it's the kind of thing where he was in Doctor Strange, just playing a stereotypical Bond villain, and he give okay performance, not his best performance. We see him done better villain performance. Go watch Hannibal if anything for better villain performance. But it's just like the heart about him to be himself, to speak in his own language a little bit. Like you rarely get to see that in a Mikkelsen movie, and it just, he brings so much to the theater, and the cast is amazing. Like we talk about mostly his performance, but everybody in that cast get top-notch performance, from the girl to his best friend to his love interest to everybody around him, and it leads to one of the best ending that leads on the cliff.
And time. All right, we're going to get into the 1 minute closing. Brian, you started off this round. You're going to start off the closing round. 1 minute on the clock. Time starts when you start talking.
Okay. This is his best performance as ever. First performance most people recognize him from. If people ask him, Mads Mikkelsen, you'll say the Chief, or so. And people recognize more of his scenes with him. And the question is best film, and this is his best film. It was early films to date.
All right, Chris. 1 minute on the clock to close the time. Time starts when you start talking.
We talked about his best film today. We talked about performance and maybe argument, but this is a film. Catching a Royale have okay performance for him. It's a film where he can't by the script. He give a stereotypical Bond villain, not to use the potential, but use other films that done better. The Hunt is a film that intensifies how amazing he is an actor, but also have amazing cast around it, a really good premise, intense thriller, all things with great cinematography, great dialogue, the dialogue top notch, and the camera works, the way and the way you follow him, it just keep you on his view, and most of the time, and you feel sympathy for him. That what made Matt Mitchell such a major actor, that you hate him at one point, but you feel sympathy in that. His father who's dealing with a marriage that's falling apart. He trying to move on with his life, trying to have custody of his son, and he gets killed in one crime. And Matt Mitchell bring everything to this film more than he does with Angela Tree. And time.
And that was time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off screen. I'm going to take you off screen. And I'm going to take you off screen. There we go. And I'm going to add you on stream. I'm going to add you on stream. All right, our judges are now in. Judges, take a second, think who you are going to give your point to and why. A couple fact checks things. There was talk about the torture scene in Casino Royale, of course, the infamous where the bottom of the chair gets cut out. They get James Bond balls and just smack them. I'm still scarred to this day. I believe someone quoted, "You're busting my balls," the correct quote, or it's right around, "I'll tell everyone you scratched my balls." Scratch, not bust. One hurts a lot. The other one is minor enjoyment. And then also Brian saying he was not able to watch The Hunt because he couldn't find it. Right now it is available on Pluto TV, Tubi, and Vudu, all free. So you don't have to pay the $2.99 on YouTube to watch it. You can watch it on free. Chris then saying he was sorry that Brian did not watch it. Chris, I don't think you were sorry. So with that, Ryan, we're going to start off with you. Who gets your vote and why?
I mean, of course, he brought that up. Meaning, of course, Brian would not be on most of the attack against Chris's film. But unfortunately, I didn't hear much from him about any more examples on why it's Mads Mikkelsen's best film. So my vote's gonna go to Chris, because Chris, he came with a little more details. He was talking a little bit about the plot involved with, and also one of the, pretty much giving you the film aspects in order for you to really not watch the film, but also watch Mads Mikkelsen's performance in this one. I was hoping more from Brian, but Chris got my vote.
All right, Chris getting the first vote. We are moving on to Chad. Chad, I saw you very triumphant when Chris said his movie. So I'm guessing you've seen it and like it, but you can't use any of that. Who gets your vote and why?
No, I mean, I was listening to both. I love both of these movies. I love Mads. I love the picks for sure. I like that Brian said that he's really super recognizable as the character, and he gives a really good performance in the movie, despite not being in it for very long. However, Chris, holy crap, Chris gave me like everything. He gave me like the whole movie. He explained the whole movie to me basically. He explained all the nuances of Mads' performance in this. He talked about the cinematography, like shot composition in the movie. And he just like basically like hammered this one home and just talked about. And the biggest point that I love that Chris said was that the hunt fully realizes Mads' potential, whereas a lot of the other movies like Casino Royale and Doctor Strange really underutilize him. So yeah, Chris for sure.
All right, and with that, Chris has the 2-0 lead. So we're going to go ahead and move on to question number 3. We remove both of y'all from stream. I'm going to add both of y'all to stream. All right. One thing I do want to say real quick before we get into this. The question on the last one was, what is the best movie of his career, not best performance? Aaron's really good about telling you in the middle. I'm not going to do that because I'm not your dad. I could be your papa, but that's not a papa job. Like the papa will console you, be like, "Hey, you did a great job." I'm not here to give you coaching in the middle of something. So just keep in mind, because this one's kind of in the same boat. This one is, what is the worst musical released in the 1980s? Chris, I believe we are starting off with you. You can
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong. The fact that you said, "Yep," I'm going to assume we are we're starting off with you.
Mhm.
1 minute on the clock. Start whenever.
So a little call back to question from previous debate. This movie was brought up before, and I realized it actually is a musical called The Pirate Movie. Where it Lucy Blake, Gilbert Sullivan, Pirate Panda. This is one of the more crime to cinema a musical ever time. It's full of stupidity, full of stupid plot, full of like musical number that come out of nowhere and then turn into a music video all of a sudden. And it's slapstick. It's not funny. It's really annoying. The music sucks half the time. And if Gilbert Sullivan were alive today, they would do that right there. They'd be rolling the grave based on this film. It's full of unmemorable characters. I mean, it just like you have a pipe fight happen. You had pizza being flown around. Yeah, Indiana Jones show up out of nowhere. A lightsaber turn on for a second, like everything, and it completely based on Private Panda. So you have like the Pirate King song. You have like the Gentleman Sullivan, like every music.
And time. All right, Chris with the pirate movie. Brian, 1 minute on the clock to start this out.
Okay, this movie I picked is Cast Off the Music, released in 1980. This film is won the first Gold Razzie ever. It's sort of like the story of the village people, which who asked for this film. It's very confusing, multiple plot lines. You get like only one well-known village people song in the movie. That's all. Like, and also this has this follows the same plot of the Muppet movie, but the Muppet movie did much better, and this has too many plot lines, which I would talk about the next round.
I'm not gonna let you finish your time until you say your movie.
Cancel the music.
All right, Brian with Can't Stop the Music. Chris with the pirate movie. Let's get that ticker with the. That's the wrong question. That's the right question. What is the worst musical of the 1980s? Chris, 2 minutes. Go.
Listen, both of these movies are some of the worst crap I ever seen in the last couple of years of my life. What made the private movie more insulting is that it was loosely based off of operatic music to make it a musical. And the way they use it are insulting up to the point. Some of it really annoying. Modern general is really annoying sequence. A lot of the music videos come out of nowhere. Like they suddenly riding a pony. The singing is atrocious. The slapstick is not funny, and it's full of innuendos that make it annoying. Can't stop the music. When it go into musical number, it's fine. It's really entertaining, and they do like really great like choreography and dynamic to make it interesting. The YMCA thing is really good. And that one time they do a little music video, it's interesting. It is stupid, yes, but I just really get behind it and laugh at the stupidity of it. The private movie is annoying. The character unlikable. Mabel is a really unlikable character, and it's feel out of time for a lot of jokes. Like everybody give it back to Fisher. Edgerton give it back to Kristen. Mcdowell did it for performance. Ted Hamilton is really bizarre in the movie. There's a lot of jokes about his private area that get made fun of. And it all around like this thing you can't understand half the time of what's going on. And the fact that they go for pop culture references like Indiana Jones, like Star Wars, like everything, even doing a little joke like they do at the Doctor Strange alternate ending with the pie fight. The pie fight suddenly happened. It nothing makes sense to me. And Gilbert Sullivan should be insulted by this movie. It's the worst use of their music. The music are overly amazing, overly memorable. Nothing makes sense in this movie, and the plot is non-existent. Can't stop the music at least had entertaining moments here to keep it from being as bad as it is. And a word doesn't mean anything. Any movie even a good movie can be nominated for Razzie.
All right, that is time. Brian, 2 minutes on the clock. Time starts when you start.
As I said before, this film, the multiple plot lines are like very confusing. You get a weird love interest. You get Bruce Jenner is filled with and like the weird funful nudity that's given the film, and like the Steve Gruber's character like kind of raunchy, like his songwriting. Then you get the village people included in this film. And it's like yeah, so this is very confusing, and like I tried watching this, and like this film turned me off like halfway through. I couldn't get into the rest of it.
All right. Let's get into that. 4 minutes where both of y'all talk. 4 minutes on the clock. Time starts when one of y'all starts talking.
Okay.
Chris, you said a film could be nominated for a Razzie. This film inspired them to create the Razzie Awards. Like that.
But that doesn't
That
mean anything. Any good movie to be nominated for Razzie. Ben Affleck's last two were nominated for Razzie this past year. So, like, anything could be nominated for Razzie. Like, I just think, in Tomorrow Caller, your film had the musical number that can be entertaining. Sorry. The YMCA thing is smiling because even and they use the music well. The way that the private movie used the Gilbert and Sullivan music is insulting at point. And they go for flash, sticky humor with add insult to the room. Like they even none of the joke land. They even like it breaks the fourth wall so many times, and I'm watching the film on YouTube. I'm like, oh my god! Like they even brought about action movie, and they showed like private sword fighting at one point image. None of it made sense. Like Elite can't stop the music. They had to know what they're going in for, and they gave me the best performance they had. Some of the jokes kind of land and make me chuckle a few times, and they know what they're in for. The music is good, and it feels like the village voice, and an interesting part. Right at that, you deformed the Muppet movie at me. That kind of ripping out the Muppet movie. It's been ripped out many times before, and it's still at least decently entertaining at times and laughable. Nothing good about the private movie, and I dare you trying to bring up anything. Even the worst
that's
cat
good.
and
They had gross humor with the fake contact lens sequence, like all like looking for contact lens and eating it, and gross humor.
But none of the Himalayan, and we talked about what musical on in 1980. And they
Yeah, that
how
was included in the movie,
your
and
movie
like
doesn't even. I hate to bring this up. Your movie feel like more a biopic half the time than a musical. Like, yeah,
so biopics can be kind of musicals. Some
yeah.
biopics
Like,
are musicals.
and the music is used okay. Like, I dare you try to play any other private music the way they use Gilbert Sullivan. It used for slapstick and humor. What makes Gilbert Sullivan unique is the bravado of the music,
Your movie's more
how
a
fast
parody
the
film
music
than a
are.
musical, anyways.
What?
Your movie's more a parody than a musical. You say my film's more a biopic. Your film's more a parody.
But their musical sequence almost throughout the movie. They use Gilbert Sullivan. Then they use like music video stuff that make it bizarrely unoriginal. Like they, at one point in the music video, they find a thinking ponies on the ocean beach, and they're singing joke things from them at the end. None of the characters like it, but the plot is bizarre. Like the whole fact that she's in a dream, dreaming all of this, and then it's just like, I want a happy ending. Like every happy ending, because happy ending song. And then she wakes up to the boy that is the president of the boy. None of it makes sense. And like your movie at least have a plot. It had interesting character. Stupid character, but interesting.
The
And it
character,
teaches
yeah,
you who the
one of the
village people
characters
are.
who's more whiny than likable.
Because the main character is just what we are. We are same people, like bohemian people on the earth. That in the dead are the village people. But that's who they are back then.
Those people don't used to like halfway through the film.
Right?
The village people don't be used to like halfway through the film. Like,
But it's set it up in a way that you're interested to see how this stupid plot's going along. Mine just had no plot, no sense of motion. It got to go for stupid human to stupid human. Raising used to Gilbert Sullivan's private parent to a potential and make them want to roll in the grave at how injustice this movie is. In time.
Yeah, it wasn't time yet, Chris. Now it is time. All right, we are now on the final closing arguments. Chris, you started us off. You're gonna start off the 1 minute closing. Time starts when you start talking.
They blew me up, abomination. But I tell you, I would take listening to YMCA and a lot of other stupid moment and Can't Stop the Music over what they did to the Gilbert Sullivan music in the Pirate movie. I love Pirate Ken. I love the music of it. But it was an insult watching the film half the time. And it was nine numbering, nobody can sing right. The slapstick and humor was right. The way they try to use the music at that point doesn't make sense. The modern general song, like, is bizarre with the choreography, with the dance. It's so fast-paced that it doesn't make that much going on. Like, Ted Hamilton giving one of his worst performance I've ever seen him give. Everybody giving, like, they phony it in. Later in the movie, I just say the acting was fine. I just to watch the musical scene out of order and to enjoy moments in the film. I had no redeeming moment. They even parody Star Wars Indiana Jones, and it made you want to spit in the eye for how insulting it is.
All right, and that is time. Way to go, Chris. Brian, this is your final 1 minute in this question. Don't make it your final 1 minute in the match. Close us
okay,
out. Time starts when you start.
with cast on the music, this film was as I said earlier, inspired the Golden Razzie Award. Like, even like this film had multiple lines. This film was also like a double feature with Xanadu, and was and also like multiple plot lines can't control it, and like the main character Rodney, similar to Jimmy, can do better performance than Steve Gruber's character. So that'll be it.
That'll be it. All right. Well, way to go, Brian and Chris. I'm gonna kick both of y'all out, and I'm gonna bring in Chad and Ryan. As far as fact checking go, there wasn't a lot of fact checks to be said because I don't know what either of these two movies are. But one fact check I will say: my whiteboard can stick to my toaster oven because it has a magnet attached to it. There is your fact check. Papa is losing his mind. Chad, go ahead and tell us who gets your point and why. But real quick, I'm just gonna let you know you are muted,
Sorry,
so we
I know, I
can
know, I
hear
know.
what you're saying.
This was the closest one for me of the debate so far because I've seen none of these movies either, by the way, Papa. But they both really evenly kind of trashed their own movies. I thought quite a bit. I just really the point that sold me is that Chris basically said that at least Brian's movie has some sort of plot. And I've heard the pirate movie come up before in another match, I think. And apparently it's a terrible movie. But I thought Brian also did a really great job on his end, trashing his own. I just heard a little more from Chris. So I'm going to go with Chris again.
All right, so Chris getting that first point. Ryan, it is your turn. Who gets your vote and why?
Honestly, like Chad, I've not seen either of these films here, so this definitely did feel like an even battle. I will say that Chris did have the edge going in there, but during the whole debate portion, he was dominating a lot of time. Now, not to say that it's a negative against him, but it was clear that Brian wanted to say more, but every time Brian started talking, it felt like he had to stop because he thought that there was a bit of an inference, and then Chris just jumped on it. I know this is Brian's debut match, so he'll learn more going on in. But I will say Chris did bring up good examples on why Brian's movie was just a little better than the pirate movie, especially talking about a couple of jokes. He did say that there were a couple of derogatory jokes on the pirate film that just made it very annoying, or at least like not worth wanting to watch. And so my vote is going to go to Chris because he once again he used all this time to really bring up why the pirate movie is terrible. Although I did say that him mishearing Brian saying that it helped like inspire like the movie like Brian's movie helped inspire like the whole thing of the Razzies when the whole miscommunication there, that was a bit of a dock personally on my end, because it was just more of not listening. But either way, Chris went in, he brought his points out, he was able to make Brian's movie look just a little better than his.
All right, so your winner by way of knockout. Solo layout not removed from stream. Chris Diaz. Praise him for a little bit. Now I'm gonna kick you out of the solo layout. Chris, not only did you win, you knocked him out. How are you feeling after that?
I feel good and I feel bad, but I know Brian he did improve a lot. I know, just like me, I did do so well when I started out, but I'm sure he would get as good at me. I feel good. I've been wanting to win for a while. I feel I really put all of my effort into it, even walking to the worst movie in all mankind with the recent question. But I had fun. Brian will be a good player, and I here to show that I here to stay. I do get better as I go on, and prove myself this year.
All right, and so with that, right now you're currently sitting at 1 win, 3 losses. Uh, Aaron doesn't have a future opponent like right in mind. I don't know what his plans are, but is there anybody out there that you would love to take on?
Honestly, I'd rather be surprised. I like always being surprised. Like every get honestly surprised opponent always keep me on edge and let me play someone I never played before. So anybody, really.
All right, so wanting the surprise, we'll see what we can do. I'm not going to say anything because I don't run this stuff. Chris, congrats on the win. I'm going to go ahead and kick you out of the stream. And I'm going to bring in the unfortunate loser today, Brian. Brian, not able to get the win, not able to get the point. But I will say you did a great job. Definitely an improvement from your holiday exhibition match. How are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling good. Even though my first match, more matches I compete in, I'll improve more and more. Sometimes people who compete for the first time don't do good, and more they play, they'll improve and do better.
That is true. And we actually do have a little bit of a clear picture for you. Apparently, I don't know if Aaron has announced this yet. If not, I'm announcing it for you. So this is what happens when I'm in charge. Apparently, we are going to be doing a summer invitational tournament. What the summer invitational tournament is, I do not know. However, I do know two people who are in it. Brian, you are going to be in it, and you will be taking on in the first round the philosopher himself, the TM Geek Commissioner, Kevin Poss. How do you feel hearing this news?
Feeling good. I faced Kevin before in other leagues, and we'll see how it goes then.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited to watch that, mainly because Kevin's like one of my best friends. But that being said, I don't show favoritism when it comes to the debate because I judged the match he was in, and he didn't get a single one of my votes because he sucked in that match. It was against Joe Fairley. Everyone sucks against Joe Fairley. But that being said, Brian, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you in the tournament. Um, I'm excited to see this tournament. So, Aaron, whenever you want to announce that, go ahead. Brian, congrats today. You did a really good performance. I'm going to go ahead and remove you from stream as it is just me because that's how I roll. Aaron, when you put me in charge, all chaos ensues. But great match tonight, Chris, getting the knockout win, which means we can't go into the fourth question, which is a little sad because I was looking forward to that question. And we can't go into the blind round, which I really want to talk about the blind round one of these days. But for Chris, for Brian, for my judges, thank you so much, Chad and Ryan. I've been the 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West. From everyone with TMG Entertainment and Movie Battlegrounds Reborn, or just Battleground, I don't know what he's calling it. Thank you so much for watching. You got a good rest of your day. Stay safe, make good choices, or don't. I do not care. Not your dad. But I could be your papa.